Ed, really cool car this, but you were telling me stuff about sensors on the car, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much the fastest connected edge device that the team at McLaren have. There's over 300 sensors on this car, some reading at low frequencies and others reading at over 80 hertz a second. So huge amounts of data being generated. In the race weekend, that's about 250 million data points the team have got to collect, analyse, and as low latency as possible get back to the factory, because it's not just the team at the track that's using this data, it's the team back at the McLaren Technology Centre in England. No matter where they're racing in the world, they are connected on a small 100 meg MPLS pipe all the way back to the UK in cool air conditioning to support the team at track in decision making.
What's the connection between the car and like the systems?
There's a network set up by the sport, by Formula One. The cars talk over a wireless connection, limited down to 2 megabits per second per car, and the team can't send commands back to the car. The driver's they're at the sharp end of it all, and we're getting all that data, all the sensors back into the garage for the team, and then our job at Cisco is to securely get that back to the team in the UK so they can make the most of that data to help support decision making.
But I mean, if it's only 2 meg from the car, and it's 100 meg MPLS, is there a lot of latency?
You know, some places, like when we're racing here in Zandvoort as a team, they would get about 15 milliseconds of latency. All the way down in Melbourne, 289 seconds of latency. So, you know, quite a lot. For context, that car on average will go 12 meters in 1 second. So the more latency you add into these systems, the further that car's going. And then you get into this weird world where you're making decisions on where the car was, not where the car is.
That information is getting to the control center.
Yep.
People in the UK. And then they have to speak to the driver. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's only one person will talk to the driver. You know, there's about 80 people on radio in the garage, 32 additional supporting back from the MTC, and they'll be relaying information to each other. And then that one engineer on the pit wall is making the right call on what to tell the driver at the right point in time. But, you know, the systems and tools they're using, they're reliant on getting the data into those. So now the team are using, you know, tools from Splunk to Thousand Eyes as sort of part of that resiliency stack that we've got to help understand, you know, when there is a problem, if there is more latency, what's happening. You know, sometimes under pressure, someone's not going to give you the best description of what's going wrong. So if you can foresee that, if you know something's going to happen before it's happening, whether or not that's on a WebEx call with the press, or if that's during the race with latency into a telemetry server, if you know what's happening, you get ahead of it and can tell them what's happening live, manage expectations, or get on that fix even earlier.